What's up, it's MlbTalk123. Jim Thome might be traded. There's speculation before he reached 600 home runs. He turns 41 in 3 days. All this happening, and he was claimed on waivers. A team, the Cleveland Indians, where he grew up in, spent around the first 10 seasons of his career in, and almost hit 400 home runs. Sorry about this chair. It's just squeaky. Almost hit 400 home runs as an Indian. Now, obviously, he's had a very successful career there. Then he gets traded to Philadelphia. Philadelphia gets Ryan Howard. Well, they brought up Ryan Howard. Like, in limited time, he had like 22 home runs. Or like, he's our new first baseman. They trade from the Phillies to the White Sox. Spent a few years there, and then now he's with the Twins. So, there was talks the White Sox would just love to see him back in the White Sox uniform. I think everyone would agree that anyone who's a fan of the White Sox would love to see him in a White Sox uniform, or would have loved to see him get 600 home runs. I'm not a fan, but, they're in my top 5, definitely. I like the White Sox. And Philadelphia, he was talking about that. Well, obviously, he's going to talk about maybe trying to go back to Philadelphia. It's going to be hard for a team not to claim him, considering it probably won't take much to get him at this point. And he adds a veteran bat, and he can still hit home runs. He's got a lot of power. He's one of those guys that you don't doubt their power. You don't think steroids with him. He's pure hitter, and he has a lot of power. So it even makes it more significant. He might even be number 5 on the list, home runs of all time, if you count out Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, and A-Rod. But, I still think Barry Bonds would be a Hall of Famer even before the steroids, and A-Rod would too. I don't think Sammy Sosa, though. But anyway, so Jim Thome, they talked about going to Philadelphia again. He probably would want to go to Philadelphia. Number 1, he was first baseman for them a few years ago, and now he gets to see, their star, Ryan Howard, one of their stars. They have many. Ryan Howard, full-time first base, and he could go in there every once in a while, be a big bench bat, and it'd be really fun to see him in the playoffs again. And I think that's the main reason that he would want to be in it. Want to be a Philadelphia Philly. He's been in the playoffs the last few years with Twins, but just haven't really made it happen. And this Phillies team is very legit, and they definitely have a big chance of making it happen. So I think he'd really enjoy being on that team. But also the Indians team he originally was with have claimed him, and really the only thing that would keep Thome from going to Cleveland is him. Ultimately, it's his decision. And whether or not he decides to go to Cleveland or say, put me off the waivers, whatever, and maybe wait till a team like Philadelphia or a contending team is able to claim him. Well, that's a chance, and that's a chance that he's going to have to take if he wants to go to Cleveland. I could see him in Cleveland, but I could also see him say, no, I want to get into a better team, contending team. I don't know if, maybe he doesn't want to go back to the Indians. Who knows? But, I could also see this deal easily happening. It's pretty much in place. All it's going to take is him okaying it, and he's going to be a Cleveland Indian. What this will do for the Indians, number 1, Travis Hafner is on the DL right now. He's been hurt the last few years a lot. But when he's healthy, he's been very solid. A few years ago, I remember hitting like 30 home runs, so he has a lot of power. And, Jim Thome would be the full-time DH right now. And then when Travis Hafner comes back, they could, switch up, switch here. I think the main thing at this point, though, is adding that veteran presence in the clubhouse, in the lineup, helping guys like Jason Kipnis, other guys that they're going to bring up in September if they're, if they continue to fall out of the race. And I mean, if they're able to make it to the playoffs, there's not many more guys that you would want on your bench over Thome. I mean, this guy can come up in any situation and in a home run. Look, he hit 1 home run, he was .599, and right when he needs another one to reach 600, he hits it in the same game. He has a lot of power, obviously. Might even be number 5 on the legit all-time home runs list. He has 600 home runs. He can hit power, opposite field, straight up, whatever, pull. He has a lot of power. And his numbers haven't been that bad this year, especially with limited playing time and then starting time and injured, all that stuff. So it'd be a good ad for the Indians to add another veteran bat in there. And even when Travis Hafner comes back, he could still switch off DH, give some young guys a chance. Whatever they decide to do, if they're able to get Thome, which seems pretty likely at this point, you know, he's definitely going to be a help to Cleveland. And I think another main reason why the front office is pushing for him, the fans. They want the fans to come to the games to see Jim Thome, who they used to watch for many, many years, do very well in Cleveland. He was one of their best players in the 90s. He was their star. You know, they trade him. You know, I think if I'm the general manager of the Indians, I'm going to make this happen. Why? Because he's going to help your team, number one. And number two, he's a great bench bat if he's not being a DH. And number three, the fans. You know, it's definitely going to excite fans to want to go to Indians game more if you're going to see Jim Thome or get new jerseys or whatever they decide to do. It's definitely going to help revenue and definitely going to help the team overall. So it'd be a great pickup if the Cleveland Indians were able to get Jim Thome. Really, he's the only one keeping them from not being able to. The deal is very close and, you know, about to be in place. So thanks for watching MlbTalk123. All right, see you.